Okay, so I'm at my local Walmart right now, and we're going to look around at the toy section. Let's see what we got here. All right, so an interesting thing happened recently, and I'm sure you all know about it, is that Toys R Us is going out of business, which means that there's not really a major toy store anymore. There's, or at least once it's gone. And I don't know how much longer it's going to be around. But pretty soon, Walmart's probably going to be the biggest name in town for going to buy toys. Target might be close to, about as close as anything else can get. But even Target, I understand, is having their problems right now. So anyway, we're just getting like a little overview of this action figure section. And then I'll get a little deeper into some things. I haven't been through here yet, so you're seeing everything for the first time as I am, because last time I was through this Walmart was maybe like a week or so ago. It doesn't look like they have too much new stuff from last time I was here, but we'll go ahead and look over what they got. You can see they got some stuff that's in the wrong spots. Like this is obviously like the Justice League action section, but they got Marvel figures there, including this old Thor and Captain America from the new movie. Last time I checked, some of these older Marvel figures were on sale, like deep discount. Like I want to say that Iron Man figure that we just saw, this one right here, I think it was ringing up at something like, God, was it like $3? Less maybe? I don't know. Here we got a Lex Luthor that is different from the previous Lex Luthor that I saw. When I saw Lex Luthor last time, he had like kind of a yellowish sort of cast to his skin, and this looks a little bit more like normal sort of Caucasian flesh. I wonder if they've got the older Lexes in here. It looks like the back looks a little bit more like what I'm thinking of, but let's see what they got, because it looks like they did get some more Lex Luthors in. I don't know why it doesn't seem like he sells that well. Yeah, here we go. I found one. Hang on a second, I'll give you a good look. So, you can clearly see the difference between the two of them. Is this one looks more like a human being, and this one looks more like Data from the Next Generation or something. So, let's see what else we got. Like I said, it doesn't look like they have any new figures here, but there's Plastic Man, which they did a nice job with, and the Joker. I really like that Joker. This Batman would be nice, except for I don't like the gold emblem. I wish it had like, you know, maybe like the old like 1989 style Batman emblem. That might have been better for like a black suited Batman. There's better Batman figures in this line. There's other ones I prefer. Like there's a basic black and gray one. I think I saw one of those around here somewhere. Yeah, here it is right here. There's a basic black and gray one, and there's two blue and gray ones, one of which is like more of a Silver Age type Batman, kind of reminiscent of Adam West, and the other one was more sort of I think supposed to be like a first appearance type Batman. This whole area is really sort of disheveled and disorganized right now, unfortunately. It looks like they sold a lot of Infinity War 12-inch figures, because I want to say they had a lot more of Infinity War last time I was here. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of them this time. I do see Thanos, which if this was Thanos with a helmet, I would probably already own this, but I don't really like the way this character looks without the helmet. He looks to me like if the guy from Pawn Stars made love to one of the California Raisins, and the California Raisin got pregnant and had a baby, it would look like Thanos. He looks a lot better with the helmet. And here's the more current Thor figure, where he has the eye patch and the shorter haircut. And I think you can see in the last one they did, they were starting to get more of like a Chris Hemsworth kind of likeness, and the helmet looks a lot like the one he had in the movie. But this one is like just dead on Chris Hemsworth. Same with Captain America. The last Captain America figure that they had, I want to say it was starting to look more like Chris Evans. And this one looks a lot more like Chris Evans even, and has the correct costume of the movie. Even the new Thor, you can see that they just reused the same comic book body. They didn't bother to give him a very movie accurate suit. And they've got various Spider-Man characters. I'm sure you saw earlier when I was digging through stuff, they had the Vulture, which this is based on Jerome K. Moore's Vulture design. It's not bad. I mean, personally, you know, I'm all about old school, so I like more like the Steve Ditko version. But I still like the helmet. I think it's pretty cool because it does lend a little more practicality to it. If you're going to be flying through the air at unimaginable speeds, you're probably going to want to have a helmet. And then you have Sandman. So they put out Green Goblin again in one of these boxes, but it's the old one with the really stiff articulation. I gotta say, as far as the 12-inch figures go, Mattel's DC 12-inch figures are vastly superior to the Marvel ones because they have elbow and knee articulation. And the elbow articulation is even, you know, kind of ball jointed so that you can get them into a lot more poses, whereas unfortunately the Hasbro ones wind up being kind of stiff and Frankenstein-y because they don't have any sort of elbow articulation. I found a Superman from Justice League Action, and you can see he's got the no trunks look like a lot of Supermans do. Since the trunks are actually going to be coming back in the comics really soon, I'm hoping that what'll happen is they'll do one of these with some trunks, because I really like these 12-inch figures, and I haven't seen a Superman with trunks yet, so I think that that would be a good way to go. And here we see Spider-Man, which again, if this was a Spider-Man figure that had elbow and knee articulation, I think this would be pretty much a perfect Spider-Man, and I would love it. But as it is, I haven't been able to bring myself to pull the trigger on it yet. And then over here to the side, I found Hawkman. And looks like it's the only Hawkman that's left here. I don't see any more on the shelf. It looks like they ran through a lot of DC figures also when they were running through all those Marvel figures. I mean, like before, you see where all these tags say like 844. These were all like various Marvel figures. Like I want to say at the very bottom there was Spider-Man, and then up here in these two slots, these two shelves, that was all their Infinity War figures, and they're all gone. You know, you see like mostly what's left is Spider-Man, and very few Infinity War figures left. So, and even the ones that are left are like, you know, Cap and Thor. They're the big names that, of course, you would have a whole lot of. There's a few more Supermans back behind Thor. And they got these Halo figures, but I never really played Halo, so I don't know a whole lot about that. And they've got Usagi Yojimbo, which I would kind of like to have one of those because I really like Usagi Yojimbo. And that's about it for the 12-inch stuff. It looks like they're just kind of wiped out right now. But let's move on to some other things. So here we got a Marvel Legends Iron Man. These Infinity War figures are already selling really well. All they got left are 2 Iron Mans, and I bet he was packed pretty heavy because, you know, it's Iron Man. How could you not? And there's not many DC Multiverse figures left of this one. And of course, you've got Jesse Eisenberg clogging up the pegs because nobody wants an action figure of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, at least not this version of it. The orange jumpsuit one seemed to sell a little better. I actually kind of like that one. And I bet if they had have done one for Justice League, it probably would have sold better because people seem to really like him in his little bit of a Justice League appearance. But this one is just kind of like, it's not even really what he looked like at the climax of the film, which is what I would probably prefer. And then all they have left of this wave is the Super Friends Aquaman. This wave, it also had a Super Friends Superman and Frank Miller's version of Wonder Woman from Dark Knight 2 and Wonder Girl. So those are gone. There's George from Rampage, which that's a pretty cool looking figure. I think they improved over the King Kong figure that they made previously. This is made by Lannard, however you say that. I think they improved on the King Kong because this one actually has leg articulation. I'll see if I can get it at an angle where you can see the leg articulation. But yeah, that was the one thing that kept me from pulling the trigger on that Kong, even as cool as it was, is you couldn't move his legs. And I have a serious pet peeve about action figures that can't move their legs. So anyway, there's a Black Panther mask. Looks like it lights up. Let's see if it's got like a try me kind of switch that I can reach. I'm gonna have to switch hands since, hang on a second. Looks like the switch is on the wrong side for the hand that I had. That just flips up the arms. Ah, here we go. So the head lights up. That's not that impressive, but it's not bad. Kids would probably like it. It's a nice looking mask anyway. I like the way they did Black Panther's mask in the movie. It reminds me a lot of how Dennis Cowan drew him, where it has this sort of subtle panther look to it. It's nice. Dennis Cowan was my favorite Black Panther artist. I got some of these like cheap Infinity War figures. They only got a couple left. There's Rocket Raccoon and Groot. So I was going to buy any of these. Probably be that. It's just 2 characters and Black Widow. It's not too bad. And Captain America, who looks more like Jim from The Office. Just weird, because he almost played Jim from The Office. I don't get it, man. Like, this is a very good likeness of Chris Evans. You know, it's maybe not the best, but I can look at it and I can tell that's Chris Evans. And then this one over here looks like he should be encasing Dwight's stapler in Jell-O. So I don't quite get that. Anyway, they got more Rampage toys over here. They got like a smaller figure of George with The Rock, and they got some of these stretch toys that look like they're based more on the old arcade game. And some Power Ranger stuff, but again, the Power Ranger stuff looks like it's pretty wiped out. I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything here. They probably need a restock. Excuse me. And again, Transformers, like very, very low on Transformers toys. There's so many blank pegs here, and looks like they've been picked over. Most of the recognizable characters are gone. Although there's some ones I'm interested in. Like some of these that are like remakes of the more old school ones. Like Insecticons. Those were pretty cool. I always liked the Insecticons. If they made one of these of a Cliff Jumper, I would probably like it. But I don't think they want to make cheap Bumblebees nowadays because he's one of their big characters. And almost every Cliff Jumper is just a repaint of Bumblebee anyway. And then down here, we got this new Starscream, which I think is pretty cool. I would like to get this one of these days. He's pretty awesome. And a new Grimlock. So that's pretty cool. I like that one all right. Let's see what else we got. There's a 12-inch Donatello. I didn't see any of the Turtles over there. There probably were some. I just overlooked them. I just remember seeing Usagi Yojimbo, though. Those Wrestler Monsters. I don't think I've seen these yet. They got Chris Jericho as a mummy, which is probably still better than the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. Let's see what else they got on the back. Undertaker. It's like a man-bat looking thing. I guess he's supposed to be like a vampire. Braun Strowman. He must be a newer guy. I'm not familiar with him. He looks like he's kind of Frankenstein. And Jake the Snake Roberts, who's like part snake. Roman Reigns looks like, I don't know, maybe like another vampire or a werewolf. It's kind of hard for me to tell. And Asuka, she must be a newer one too. I'm not familiar with her. She looks like she's that chick from Mortal Kombat. I didn't know she was considered a classic monster, but what? Oh, I found one on the shelf. Yeah, there's one on the shelf. Yeah, that's disturbing. I like that they got like a lot of these older wrestlers, which are the ones that I remember from when I was a kid. There's Ted DiBiase and Ravishing Rick Rude. You can build Howard Finkel. How about that? Let's see what else they got here. It's Randy Orton. No, Bob Orton, sorry. I'm getting my wires crossed. I do remember Randy Orton. He was at least old enough I can remember her. And Mean Gene. Yeah, Bob Orton was Randy Orton's dad. So they're related. I'm not like a huge expert on wrestling, but I enjoyed watching it when I was a kid. Oh yeah, here's this guy here. He's definitely like a Frankenstein kind of monster. So that's kind of cool. Berserker. The Easter Bunny, for some reason. That must be a newer thing also. That must be something where Adam Rose and Bunny. Yeah, I just haven't watched wrestling in so long. I'm so out of the loop. I don't know, maybe I should. Ooh, here's something I have to buy. Wow, it's Grand Moff Tarkin. And that's such an excellent likeness. It looks just like Peter Cushing. The only problem is, let's see if I can get it to focus in. Hang on, let me see if I can. I don't know how well this is going to focus, but we'll try. Yeah, he looks a little cross-eyed. Maybe they've got one that's got like a better paint deco, but yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm like a huge fan of Peter Cushing. He's like one of my favorite actors of all time, between Star Wars and the Hammer movies. So I'm excited that they got such a cool looking figure of him, if I can find one that's not cross-eyed. They got the new Han Solo, which I've not seen that movie yet, so I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. And then there's Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, which is probably going to be the best part of that movie, honestly. And a Death Squad commander, as they used to call it. It says Death Star Trooper, but when I was a kid it was labeled Death Squad commander. Jawa, and young Han Solo again, and the Stormtrooper looking guy again. I don't know, I don't really care so much about the new stuff. There's some stuff in the new stuff that I like, and there's some characters in the new stuff that I like, but for the most part I like the old school Star Wars stuff mostly. So, but this is tempting, but I don't like that he's all kind of cross-eyed, like I said. So I'm gonna wait and hold out and see if I can maybe find one that's not cross-eyed, because that's disappointing. And I got some Despicable Me stuff. It's mostly Minions. And here is Eric Killmonger. That should be with the rest of the 12-inch stuff. I was really disappointed with this Killmonger figure, because all they really did was they took the comic book version of Black Panther and they just kind of repainted him, so he's got this sort of vague leopard spot pattern on him you can barely make out. It's like one of the things that was really cool about Killmonger in the movie is like he had this mask that looked almost kind of like it had fangs on it, and they didn't even bother to replicate that. They could have at least painted some gold fangs on front of his face. Disappointing. Let's see, Star Wars. Star Wars is something they've got plenty of, but looks like it's mostly characters that nobody really wants. That and a few of the main characters that they probably overpacked. But let's see if I can find something that's cool. Let's see, there's Rey. There's Finn. There's Hux. Rose's sister, Rose. Yeah, see, here's a problem with Rose as an action figure. And I know this is a character that has some controversy to her. And I didn't think she was that bad of a character when I watched the movie, honestly. Like, up until the very end, when she stops Finn from sacrificing himself to save the day, and then she gives him that really forced kiss that he looks really uncomfortable with. Like, I was watching The Office yesterday, and it was one of my favorite episodes, was just Gay Witch Hunt. And the scene at the end, when Michael goes to kiss Oscar, is, I just kept thinking about that kiss from The Last Jedi, and I'm like, dude, it's like, it's the same thing. Oh, hey, I didn't notice this. Hux actually comes with the mouse droid, so that's kind of cool. I like that. Well, they got, Rey, of course. They did a much better job of like distributing Rey figures this time. I remember for the last movie, Rey was apparently a figure that they couldn't keep on the shelves enough, and it looks like they've actually got some options if you want to buy a Rey figure. There's plenty of them here. Same with Kylo Ren. They got some old school characters mixed in, like Yoda. But, you know, the Star Wars figures just haven't been selling as well lately, and I think part of the reason is because, like, Last Jedi was just not as warmly accepted by the fan base as the other films. You know, it really is too bad. Honestly, like, I hadn't really talked too much about it, but I thought it was, like, a decent enough movie. I enjoyed watching it, but I kind of felt like as far as, like, doing the whole, as being part of a saga, I think it kind of closed a bunch of doors they didn't really need to close yet. We're going to go here and look at the Legos. Alright, so this has been marked down, which I really like this set. I bought that when it was brand new, and it was totally worth it. I might buy another one if it's on sale. But you can see, like, it's got almost all the bounty hunters. It doesn't have Boba Fett, but Boba Fett's in, like, so many other sets. And the only other one that's missing is Zuckuss or Forlom? I forget which one it is officially now. I want to say that this one that comes in the set, the one that's a droid, I want to say that that one is now officially considered to be Forlom, and that the one that's more of a, you know, an organic insect, it's considered to be Zuckuss, but they both have insect heads. But yeah, like, they swap their names at some point. I don't know, it probably makes more sense for an organic creature to be named Zuckuss and for the droid to have letters and numbers for a name. But, you know, whatever. Here's another setup here. I don't know what the hell that thing is. I don't remember this from the movie. I mean, I'm sure it was in there, even if it was just in the background or something, but I don't remember it. And there's not many characters in here that I think would be characters that would really appeal to kids, where they're like, ooh, I've got to get that set because it's got, you know, Chewbacca or somebody in it. It's just Hux and some generic troop builder characters, so I can't see kids being too excited about any of those. This is probably my favorite of the Last Jedi sets because it's got Luke Skywalker in it. I did think they did a really good job of Luke Skywalker in that movie. I know a lot of people were complaining they didn't like it, that, like, he was all, like, you know, grumpy old man living on an island by himself, but I kind of did like that. I thought it was funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can see why somebody wouldn't like it, but I didn't have any problem with it. I thought it was fun. I had fun with it. I think, like, the biggest problem with The Last Jedi was that they had it revealed that Rey's parents were, like, nobody after they set it up as, like, being this big mystery in the previous film, and honestly, they probably need to fix that when they do the new movie, the Episode 9. Just because that just seemed like kind of like a cop-out, I'm sorry. Since the Landspeeder set, I would like to get this set. I haven't gotten around to getting it yet. But it's really cool. When I was a kid, the first Star Wars vehicle I had, I figure what the first Star Wars vehicle a lot of kids had, because it was probably one of the cheaper ones, was the Landspeeder. So I've got, like, a lot of nostalgic affection for it, so I really need to get that. It looks like that's it as far as Star Wars goes. It's anything I'm interested in talking about. I'm not seeing any Han Solo stuff yet, so I don't know if it's been released yet. Let's go look at some more stuff. So here is Lego City. I don't buy too much Lego City stuff, but I like looking at it. There's some fun stuff here generally. So, kind of like the monster truck. That's pretty cool. Most of the Lego stuff I buy is superheroes, though. And speaking of which, there's Lego Batman, which this is the last round of Lego Batman stuff that they did here with the Justice League anniversary and Eggheads, like mech suit, whatever you call that. And they got a few of the older sets still left too, like the Joker and this thing with the Scarecrow and the pizzas, and this Mr. Freeze set that I really like. But I think that's probably it for the Lego Batman movie. They've probably decided to move on to other things now. And they had some of the newer Justice League sets, the comic book Justice League sets, but I don't see too many of those around. I see down there the set with Flash and Killer Frost, which I really like that set, but haven't gotten around to getting it yet. I have the set with Lobo in it, and I have the set with Lex Luthor. Oh, there's the Lex Luthor set. That's just in the wrong spot. So I have that set. That was my mom got me that for my birthday. That was nice of her. So, and then they got the Friends, Lego Friends kind of stuff, and the girly sort of Legos. I guess they're doing pretty well because they're still making them, but I remember there was some controversy about that in the beginning because everybody thought they were like just being sexist by making girly Legos. I don't know how that works. I'm too ignorant of such things. I mean, I try to have some empathy and everything, but, you know, if girls like it and it's selling, I guess they did something right. So, I don't know. And Imaginext. I was looking at the Imaginext, but I haven't really seen anything new here in a while. The last thing I saw that was new is at a different Walmart, and I managed to find Swamp Thing. They made a Swamp Thing, and it came with like a 0 year type Batman, the Batfleck, which I didn't really care about 0 year Batman because I didn't really get into the New 52 at all. But if you were into 0 year, you'd probably think it was awesome. I thought they did a pretty good job with it. Swamp Thing was the one I was really happy about, so. I'm kind of irritated that they made a new Darkseid and it's still like a smaller figure. I mean, it's bigger than your standard Imaginext figure, but if you see the, like, Doomsday up here, if you can get a good look at him, he's behind something, he's huge. And if you saw Mongol, the new Mongol figure they put out, he also is huge. So I'm not sure why Darkseid isn't. That's kind of strange. Man-Bat. Freaking Man-Bat. Man-Bat is bigger than Darkseid. That doesn't make much sense to me. There's like movie Wonder Woman. They did a good job with her. That's probably my favorite Wonder Woman they've done for this line. And then this Catwoman that I see peg warming all over the place. I probably would have bought it if they had done something a little more unique with her, other than let's just take her sleeves off and pack her with the same vehicle that she came with before, only now it's purple. So, and then this vehicle is kind of goofy because it looks like a Bat garbage truck or something. I don't know what it is, but it has a Rebirth version of Batman, if I can get a good look at that. So that's kind of neat. Oh, there's a Doomsday up there. They don't have Doomsday in a good spot, but it's a pretty nice figure. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the stuff I'm interested in looking at this Walmart. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more of these for some reason, go ahead and click the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so I can let you know anytime I got a new video. I don't know why you'd want to watch this, but if you do, there you go. But thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.